She's got a smile that lights up a room too, you know.
Well, Andrew Krasny conducting the interview there. She's delighted. I'm not surprised. So many positives from that performance today. Mentally so strong, but physically going through it and coming out the other side. And it was interesting hearing her say that that was one of the objectives after that run here last year. Well, I think it's objective achieved if that performance is anything to go by. Takes a lot of resilience when you've lost an opening set that's lasted longer than an hour and 20 minutes to not get weighed down, especially when you've had 4 set points, which she did.
What happens when the old-school, ruthless, championship-winning mentality of Roger Federer's inner circle collides head-on with the modern, PR-driven marketing machine of the Women's Tennis Association?
3.5-hour match almost, really long to kick off the tournament for you. What do you think was the key in order for you to be able to pull this match out? It was close.
It definitely was close, very demanding physically and mentally, but that was one of my goals last year after this tournament, was to improve physically, and here I am, fresh as a flower, so yeah.
Welcome back to the channel, tennis fans. Today we have a massive controversy brewing in the tennis world, and it strikes at the very heart of how we treat young rising stars in this sport. We're talking about Alex Eala, the Filipina prodigy, the Rafa Nadal Academy graduate, a player with the weight of an entire nation on her shoulders. Recently, the WTA decided to praise her. But instead of talking about her lethal left-handed forehand, her incredible court coverage, or her warrior mentality, they praised her smile.
To me, and it says a lot of my progress and how I've developed as a player and as a person. I came into Miami last year as a wild card. Now I'm in the 3rd round again, so I'm really, really happy, and especially having been able to compete at this level today against an amazing fighter, so I'm really happy.
She lights up a room with her smile. And let me tell you, Roger Federer's coaching camp absolutely lost it. Today we are breaking down why a legendary coach went off on the WTA, what this means for Alex Eala's future, and the dark side of tennis marketing that no one wants to talk about. Buckle up, because this gets deep. Before we get into the explosive comments from Federer's camp, we need to understand exactly who the WTA is dealing with here. Alexandra Eala is not your average up-and-comer. She is a generational talent for the Philippines. And when you look at Eala's pedigree, it is nothing short of intimidating. She didn't just show up on the tour out of nowhere.
Alex, last question. Ranked 140 in the world a year ago. Now you're in the top 30. Talk to us a little bit just about what you're most impressed with. Is it your physical game? Is it your mental game? What are you most pleased with?
I think I'm really pleased with how I'm handling everything as a whole. A lot of things have changed for me, especially this year in this season. So I think I'm doing a good job of keeping that balance of being hungry and staying happy and still working hard.
All right, congratulations. See you in the 3rd round. Alexandra Eala.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Right.
Salamat.
Alexandra Eala.
Here is the corrected version with all proper names and spellings fixed, same words and tone. She was forged in the fires of the Rafa Nadal Academy in Spain. Let that sink in. She has been mentored by the king of clay himself. She has won junior Grand Slam titles, including the 2022 US Open Girls Singles title, where she didn't drop a single set. Listen to me carefully. You do not win a junior Grand Slam without dropping a set just by being nice. You win it by having a killer instinct. You win it by possessing a mental toughness that shatters your opponents. Eala plays with a heavy topspin-loaded forehand that pushes her rivals deep behind the baseline. Her game is built on grit, endurance, and tactical brilliance. She is a warrior in every sense of the word. But if you look at how the tennis establishment sometimes tries to market her, you wouldn't know she's a killer on the court. You'd think she was a social media influencer. And that disconnect between the brutal reality of professional tennis and the glossy, superficial PR campaigns is exactly what triggered the eruption from one of the most respected minds in tennis. Let's look at the incident. A promotional spotlight is put on Alex Eala. The tennis world is watching. Young girls in the Philippines and all over Southeast Asia are looking up to her, wanting to know what makes her a champion. And what is the headline? What is the defining characteristic the marketing team decides to highlight? She lights up a room with her smile. Now, on the surface, to a casual observer, this sounds like a nice compliment. It sounds harmless, right? Who doesn't like a nice smile? But in the cutthroat, hyper-competitive world of top-tier tennis, this is a massive red flag. Do we ever see promotional material for Carlos Alcaraz saying he has such lovely eyelashes? Do we see the ADP tweeting about Jannik Sinner really brightening up the locker room with his giggles? No. We hear about their lethal power, their unbreakable defense, their ruthless aggression. By reducing Alex Eala's immense physical and mental achievements to her smile, the WTA's marketing engine fell into an ancient, frustrating trap. They prioritized marketability, sweetness, and likability over athletic dominance. They packaged a tiger and tried to sell her as a house cat. And somebody in the upper echelons of tennis royalty had finally had enough. Enter the Federer coaching philosophy. When you are in Roger Federer's inner circle, you don't care about PR. You care about biomechanics. You care about footwork. You care about the mental fortitude required to win 20 Grand Slams. When a prominent voice from this legendary coaching camp saw the WTA's framing of Alex Eala, he didn't hold back. According to reports sweeping through the tennis community, the reaction was explosive. The message from Federer's camp was clear. Stop softening these young players. The coach reportedly argued that when you tell a 19-year-old girl who is grinding on the ITF circuit trying to transition to the grueling main WTA tour that her value lies in how radiant her smile is, you are actively messing with her competitive psychology. Tennis is a brutal sport. It is lonely. You are out there on an island for 3 hours. If your forehand breaks down, your smile isn't going to save you against IGA. If your second serve is weak, your radiant personality isn't going to stop Aryna Sabalenka from taking your head off with a return winner. The Federer camp's argument is rooted in pure tennis survival. To survive on the WTA tour, Eala needs to cultivate an aura of invincibility. She needs opponents to fear her. When players look across the net at Alex Eala, they shouldn't be thinking, "Oh, what a sweet girl." They should be thinking, "I am in for an absolute war today." The coach essentially accused the WTA marketing machine of doing a disservice to Eala's hard work. By highlighting her aesthetics and charm, they strip away her agency as a ruthless competitor. Federer's camp knows exactly what it takes to build a champion. It takes blood, sweat, and an almost psychotic level of self-belief. It does not take a nice smile. To truly understand why this coach was so furious, we have to look at the dark history of women's tennis marketing. The WTA has a long, troubled history of trying to find the next IT girl. Look at Anna Kournikova, a phenomenal talent, a brilliant doubles player. But the media and the marketing machines pushed her looks so hard that her actual tennis was completely overshadowed. Look at Eugenie Bouchard. She reaches a Wimbledon final and suddenly the media demands she become a full-time supermodel, completely derailing her focus and confidence on the court. And more recently, look at Emma Raducanu. She pulls off the greatest miracle in modern tennis history by winning the US Open as a qualifier. What happened next? The corporate sponsors descended like vultures. They put her on billboards for jewelry, high fashion, and airlines. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't about her flawless backhand down the line. It was about her brand. And the pressure nearly broke her. Federer's camp knows this history. They see the warning signs. Alex Eala is entering the most critical phase of her career. The transition from elite junior to elite pro is a graveyard of broken dreams. Only a tiny fraction of junior Grand Slam champions ever make it to the top 10 of the WTA Tour. If the media and the WTA start feeding Eala the narrative that her commercial success is tied to her charm, her smile, and her approachability, they're setting a trap. Because let me tell you what actually matters for Alex Eala right now. It's not her smile. It's her second serve win percentage. It's her ability to step inside the baseline and take the ball early. It's improving her transition game, so she can finish points at the net instead of grinding out 20-shot rallies from 10 feet behind the baseline. That is what the WTA should be highlighting. Look at the RPMs on Eala's forehand. Look at her tactical intelligence against bigger hitters. When you praise a female athlete for her athletic mechanics, you empower her. When you praise her for her smile, you diminish her to an ornament. The outburst from the Federer camp forces us to confront the blatant double standard that still exists in sports media today. Let's do a thought experiment. Imagine Rafael Nadal at 19 years old. He has the long hair, the sleeveless shirt, the pirate pants. He is destroying opponents on clay. Can you imagine the ADP putting out a poster that says, "Rafa, he just lights up the locker room with his sweet grin"? It's laughable, right? Nadal is marketed as a beast, a gladiator, a bull. His marketing reflected his tennis identity. But when it comes to women, there is this persistent, underlying pressure from executives in boardrooms to make them likable. They want the female athletes to be fierce on the court. But the second the point is over, they want them to smile, wave, and be the perfect polite ambassador. Serena Williams fought against this her entire career. Maria Sharapova fought against it by leaning into an ice-cold, unapproachable persona on the court. Iga Swiatek is currently fighting it by demanding that people talk about her tactical adjustments rather than her off-court personality. Alex Eala is next in line to fight this battle. She is a massive star in the Philippines. She has millions of eyes on her. The corporate sponsorships are going to come flooding in, and the temptation for her management team will be to market her as the sweetheart of Southeast Asia. But the coach from Federer's camp is right. If she wants to win Grand Slams, she doesn't need to be a sweetheart. She needs to be an assassin. So, where does Alex Eala go from here? How does she block out the noise of the marketing machine and focus on the reality of the tennis court? First, she needs to listen to the brutal honesty of coaches like the ones in Federer's camp. The truth is the women's game is currently dominated by immense raw power. Sabalenka, Rybakina, Goff. To compete with them, Eala, who is not the tallest or the biggest player on tour, has to rely on absolute technical perfection and tactical genius. She needs to add 5 to 10 miles per hour to her first serve. She needs to flatten out her backhand when she has the opportunity to dictate play. She has the clay court sliding and the defensive abilities of a Nadal prodigy, but on hard courts and grass, she needs to become the aggressor. And none of those improvements come from reading press clippings about how nice your smile is. They come from suffering in the gym. They come from crying in frustration after a bad practice session. They come from the ugly, unglamorous side of professional sports that the PR teams desperately try to hide from the public. Federer's coach speaking out wasn't an attack on Alex Eala. It was a defense of her. It was a veteran of the sport standing up and saying, "Respect this girl's grind. Respect her talent. Stop treating her like a model and start treating her like the lethal competitor she is bled to become." Alex Eala has the potential to change the landscape of tennis in Asia forever. She has the backing of the Rafa Nadal Academy. She has the raw talent. And she has the heart. But the tennis media, the WTA, and the fans need to do their part. We need to demand better analysis. We need to celebrate her footwork, her passing shots, and her mental resilience when facing break points. Let her smile when she holds up a trophy. Until then, let her be ruthless. What do you guys think? Was the coach right to go completely off on the WTA for this PR move? Or is marketing just part of the modern game that these young players have to accept? I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's get a Real debate going. If you appreciate deep dives into the real tactics, psychology, and business of tennis, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep your eye on the ball and respect the grind. See you on the court.